two Chinese teenagers killed in the crash have also been identified as Wang Lingjia and Ya Mingyuan. They were among 70 Chinese students and teachers headed to a summer camp in the United States. We have team coverage on the crash, beginning with Mark Niu. He's live at San Francisco International Airport.
Mike, the latest information is that there are reports that one of the teens may have been killed by being run over by a fire rig. A local newspaper actually quoted the San Francisco fire chief as saying she did not suffer extensive burns, but her injuries were more consistent with that of being run over. Now, the other teen is believed to have died after being ejected after the plane hit the sea wall. But we won't know for sure until the autopsies are completed, which is likely later tonight. Some progress has been made, though, into the investigation into the cause of the accident. Two important items: the flight data recorder, which actually gives insight into how the plane performed, and the cockpit voice recorder, which also shows how the crew performed. Both of those devices have been removed safely and transported to labs in Washington, D.C. Now, I spoke to the National Transportation Safety Board chairperson. She told me that while their hearts go out to the victims and their families, this accident could have been much worse. At least 20 investigators visited the scene of the accident, getting a close-up look at the charred fuselage and the separated tail of the plane. While the external damage has been seen worldwide, NTSB Chairman Deborah Hersman says she saw significant damage inside, too, especially to the seats.
We saw different types of damage. We saw fire damage and burn damage in the front of the aircraft. In the back of the aircraft, we didn't see that same fire damage, but we saw significant structural deformation in the back.
The NTSB has already determined that both the flight data recorder and the cockpit voice recorder are intact. A key finding is that upon landing, the plane's airspeed slowed to below the targeted speed. 7 seconds before impact, there was a call to increase speed, and 1.5 seconds before impact, a call to try to land again.
I will tell you that the speed was significantly below 137 knots. The 137 knots came from the crew conversation about their approach speed. We need to take a closer look at the raw data on the flight data recorder, as well as corroborate that with radar and air traffic information.
In the wake of the crash, delayed and diverted flights are creating a hectic travel situation with lines like these. Many travelers are still waiting for their flights, which were scheduled a day ago, to finally get the green light.
We got the news of the flight being canceled pretty late, so many of the people cannot find a hotel.
Zhang Xiaolin was traveling from San Diego to Xiamen, China, but his transit in San Francisco turned into an overnight stay. He called 20 hotels without success, which meant that he and his family, including his 40-day-old infant son, had to sleep at the airport and use their luggage for cushioning.
I have a lot of baggage. I need to handle these stuff, and I need to look after my wife and the baby.
But most travelers realize their troubles still pale in comparison to the nightmare faced by passengers on Asiana Airlines Flight 214. And just a few hours ago, the San Francisco International Airport opened up another runway. That now makes 3 of the 4 runways up and running. Investigators have their work cut out for them, as in the next few days they will be interviewing the pilots and the crews to find out more about what's happened. They're going to be here for at least a week, and they also say it usually takes about 10 to 12 months to conclude an investigation. Mike.